And there is one more thing I think I missed in the review: binomial distribution. I think it is not in the review. I don't know how I missed it, but please focus. I mean, please add binomial distribution to this review as well. Okay. Just simple question like you have given the all details, then you have to just plug the values into the binomial distribution and find the corresponding probability, something like that. Okay. If I have enough time, I'll go through the binomial distribution question as well. Okay. Okay. Actually, it's like a hint. There is a binomial question. Okay. There is a binomial question. Okay. Everything I believe that you can do. I mean, the entire exam based on what we have done in the class. Okay. This is also the final review is also based on what we have done in the class. Okay. Everything. I mean, each section, each tiny sections we have covered, so you don't have to worry about that. If you need, I mean, I recommend you to go through at least twice this review and go through the notes as well. Okay, because sometimes questions they very similar to something what we have done in the notes. Okay, right. Exam is same as the mid exams, virtual on MyStatLab. Okay, I'll open it around 12 a.m. and you will be having 24 hours. Okay, but exam time is 2.5 hours. There are 50 multiple choice questions within 2.5 hours. Okay, clear? Right. What else? Not this Wednesday, this Thursday, I'll upload all the homework scores as well as your quizzes scores. Okay, on the Blackboard, so you can check. Or if you need to calculate, you can calculate your grades yourself. Okay, except final exam. Okay, right. Do you have any specific questions before I go through from the 1 to 50, 55? Okay. Any specific questions? No? Great. So if you need binomial, C table and T table, you can find it on the Blackboard under table or something. C table or T table. I have already uploaded it. Okay. Let me show it to you. Formula table, there are 2 formula sets. I mean, if you want to use this one, is the smallest one between 2 pages. Everything is there. Almost like formulas. They are starting from chapter 3. Okay, so this is some kind of a summarized version. So you can find all the necessary formulas here. See, find the mean, sample standard deviation, population mean, something like that, up to chapter 9. Chapter 11, including chapter 10 as well. Okay, all the necessary formulas. I think this is the summarized version, and also the second page you can find the C tables. There are 2 C tables and T table. Okay, it's the other side, but T table. Okay. The other one, I think I already uploaded this one as well. This is something like a giant one. It has everything, like everything in your textbook. More than chapter 11 is chapter 13, 15, everything is there. So it is a little bit longer than the previous one. So anyway, you can use either one. This one is the shortest one, just 2 pages. Okay. Right. Because in the questions, I don't ask the formula, right? You know that. I don't ask what is the formula of this. I ask you to find the answer. So you should know what is the formula. I most of the time, I haven't given the formula. So you have to find which one suit to which one. Okay. Right. Sometime I may need these formulas as well. Let's see. And also there is another document or you can find on the Blackboard. It's mentioned using C table or something like that. Okay, in that PDF document, you can see like this one. It's a handwritten note. I have mentioned how to find the C values as well as T values, T table values. Okay, so if you have enough time, please go through that document as well. If you have any questions based on how to find C values, T values, you can use that. Okay. Exam paper, I mean, final exam format is very similar to this one. I mean, all of them are multiple choice questions, so very similar to this one. Right. Chapter 5 and chapter 9, they have more weights, which means they have more questions than the other chapters. 9 and 5. I think course coordinator sent us in that document, there were 15% for both of them, something like that. Okay, so there are more questions from chapter 5 and chapter 9. Chapter 5 means including, I think, binomial, right? Binomial distribution, that part. Okay. Right. What else? Any questions based on final exam? I had something to let you know, but I don't remember that. No. Right. I'll try to go through specific questions. If I can at least finish up to chapter 5, then I can next day I can move on to chapter 6 to chapter 9. Let's go. Okay, in this question, this is chapter 1. Okay, chapter 1. So expenses 5 optic. Computer department received 4 boxes. There are 4 boxes containing 10 cables each. So in total, how many cables? 4 times 10, right? Is 40. So what they ask, manager will just box one box at random, at least and test 2 cables chosen random within box. What is the population? So population is 4 times 10. Okay, 4 times 10. Yeah, 4 times 10, because they ask the population. You don't have to worry about the population or sample. We have only the population in this question. We just consider 4 boxes. Each contain 10 cables. Okay. Okay. Do you remember what is the descriptive and inferential statistics? The difference between those two? Descriptive, what it does? I mean, it calculate or do some calculations on what? Sample. Okay, on sample, and give a conclusion about that itself. Okay, but inferential statistic, it yes, exactly same as the previous case. It do some kind of calculations or do calculations on sample, but it give a conclusion about its population. Can you see the difference? So descriptive guy here only based on the sample, only on the sample, but inferential, yes, it is based on the sample, but conclusion or draw a conclusion, whatever, based on about its population. Okay, for example, we are considering a university, I mean this class students, how many girls, how many boys. Okay, and then after my survey or whatever, I'll give a conclusion like this. In this university, in TTU, we have 60 female students sorry, not 60, 60% female students and 40% male students, something like that. See, I give a conclusion about a population based on results from my sample. It is about the inferential statistics. Okay. In descriptive case, we are only considering sample and we stick on that sample. Okay, right. Based on this, based on a random sample, 1,000 people, research observed following percentage people lacking health insurance in one US city. Okay, one US city. So this survey or whatever based on 1,000 people in a particular city. So that city is what? That city is some kind of population or what? Sample. So this survey based on random sample from 1,000 people in this particular city. Clear? So this is the sample. Clear? So he is going to do this survey or whatever based on this sample. But what is his population? This particular US city. Okay. So this is the population. You can consider this as a population. But yes, see, researcher obtained the following estimates of the percentage of people lacking health insurance in this city, about population. So this table based on his claim or his conclusion about what? About his population. Okay, he start from his sample 10,000, 1,000 people. Based on 1,000 people, he has done a kind of a conclusion here. What happened in this US city, people in this US city. So this is about what? He did some calculations based on this sample, 1,000 people, and then give a conclusion or in the summarized table about the people in this US city or about the population. So start from the sample, finally end up with the population. So what is that? Inferential. Okay, clear? If you don't have this one, based on random sample of 1,000 people, okay, if you have that one only, then this question is what? It's about descriptive statistics. Clear? If you don't have these two sentences or this part, if you don't have this part, then this is going to be a descriptive statistic because we have the sample, that's it. Okay, since you have this part, this is going to be a inferential statistic. This is the process. Okay. I think all questions are like distinct questions, right? I cannot skip. Okay, this one. Do you remember quantitative and qualitative? Quantitative means something we can measure, numbers. Okay. Qualitative means not numbers like eye colors, race, something like that. Okay, those are qualitative. Quantitative means we can measure height, weight, something like that. Okay, so this, what is about this? Which column? Top 5 movie, what kind of data providing information? Second column, 1, 2. This column, it's about this column, right? Second column. So it's about quantitative. Why? Numbers. Don't worry about this NA, which mean like not given or not applicable, or there are no any information about that. So this column based on values. Last week, which mean columns, values, numbers. So it is quantitative. What about this one? This column, it's about something like eye colors or something like that. Okay, no numbers. So this column going to be a qualitative one. If they ask the third column, it is a qualitative one. This also a quantitative. This also a qualitative. Okay, Clear? Data in the following, I think, okay, what we need to find, determine the value or value that should be entered in the relative frequency column for classes 0 to 40. Okay, you need to find the relative frequency of this row or class, this one, 0 to 14, which means this class. How many? 2. Frequency is 2, right? So, how do you find the relative frequency? That frequency in that particular class divided by total. So, what is the total? 40. This total is 40. Okay. So, frequency divided by its total gives you the relative frequency. 2 over 14 means 1 over 20. 1 over 20 means 0.05. Clear? It's asked the relative frequency. Okay. Relative frequency. Relative frequency definitely a decimal. Oh, yes, decimal number, not the percentage, because it is a relative frequency. If they ask a percentage, then might be this one, maybe this one. But here, relative frequency. So definitely 0.05. Okay. Stem leaf tables or diagrams. Do I need to go through this? The main thing is in this, why there are 2 answers. There are only 2 answers. Okay. As I mentioned in that section, there are 2 ways to mention, 2 ways to show these system leaf diagrams. One way is just consider it's in the system part is the leaf, its values 10, 11, 12, something like this. All 10 values, all values starting from 10 goes to this column, this row, which means 108. You don't write 10, you write just the rightmost bit 8, or rightmost digit 8. 110, 10, this one 9. Okay, at the end you have to sort this leaf column into ascending order, this part. Okay, so if you check these 2, this based on the second way, which means if you want, you can split this specific row into 2 pieces, 10, 10. First part based on 0 to 4, and the next part goes from 5 to 9, like this. What is the problem here? In this case, they have values including 5 here, but 5 cannot include into this first line. It should go to the next line if you have this kind of 2 pieces for one particular value. So it should be like this. Okay, either way, it doesn't matter. Based on your answer, try to focus on which method you need to use. Okay, the other thing is definitely it should be a sorted ascending order. This leaf column, ascending order, always ascending order. Okay. Approximately how many had systolic blood pressure reading of 140 or higher? This part. How many? In that case, there are 200. Yes, 200 people. So in this table, they have mentioned the relative frequencies. So once you multiply the height of this, or the height of this bar, for example, what is the height of this bar? This second one, 0.35, right? Once you multiply 0.35 by 200, you will get how many people in this bar or this frequency. Okay, for example, 200 is this one, all people in this particular question, multiply by 0.35, 70, which means 70, right? No, 7 or 70. Yes, 70, right? 70. So which means there are 70 people in this particular bar. Frequency of this bar is 70. Clear? The other thing is uh, $140 or higher. Okay, it's a little bit tricky. So how do you find this? This value exactly you can find, but value like this, it is a little bit harder. There is one way to find this. Actually, this bar height is not 0.1, it is less than 0.1. So this is the okay. So anyway, you have to find the people belongs to this two bars, right? So as I draw here, you can simply put your ruler and find the corresponding value right here. I think it is 0.08, I believe that, and this one also 0.03, something like that. But there is another way. Okay, you can find whatever you don't need, which means this part. If it is easy, you can find how many people in this piece and subtract that number from 200. You can get the same answer. I think the approximate answer would be 22. So please check it. Okay, the way how you find it, just put your ruler and find the corresponding height, multiply that height or that relative frequency by 200, because 200 is the total, so that you can get the corresponding value frequency for each age or age group. Okay, right, clear? Yes, this is same thing. I'm not going to explain this one. Right. Okay. Identify the midpoint of the third class. 1, 2, 3. This class. How do you find the midpoint? You don't need numbers. I mean, you don't need the frequency or relative frequency to find that. What is this class? 120 to 130, right? So what's the midpoint? Point somewhere here, which means here, this one. So this midpoint is this value right here. So what is that value? 125, right? 120 plus 130, this is plus 30 divided by 2. It is 125. Okay. Okay. This is, yes, a little bit tricky. What kind of shape is this? There are two answers for this one. Okay. Bell shaped or triangular shape. Definitely you can skip right skewed and left skewed. Okay, if it is right skewed, it's gonna be like this. If it is left skewed, it's gonna be like this. Okay, but what do you think about these two, bell shape or triangular? If it is bell shape, it should be like this. Tails are very tiny when you are compared with this body. Okay, that's the difference between triangular shape and bell shape. So this is gonna be, see, these tails, they are a little bit higher than this this much. This should be very tiny. So this is gonna be, if you start from here, for example, if you start from this midpoint, you can simply draw its midpoint to this place like this. So this is gonna be a triangular shape. Okay, if it is bell shape, it looks like Yes, it's look like a little bit different. Okay, I don't think you may have this kind of questions because I know this is a little bit tricky. Let me read this. No, you cannot find the exact answer based on this one or this one, because yes, answer is definitely triangular because this is not a bell shape. But I know that you can think about a bell shape because you can sometimes draw a bell shape like this. But the thing is, which curve, this is also a curve, which curve can approximate almost all in this distribution? Which curve that can cover all the area? I mean, the maximum area. That gonna be our distribution or the correct curve. Okay, so based on that, it's going to be a triangular, because if you draw a bell curve shape, you cannot get the maximum coverage. Okay, right. Yes, I think I don't need to do this. Okay, this is about mean commission. Mean summation of xi's divided by n. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, 13, right? So this sum divide by 13. Okay, so you can get this number. I have some answers. I just prepared this yesterday. I'm not sure the answers are correct, but number of commissions 10. Ah, yeah, it is not 13. Sorry, it is 10. It's 10. Okay, there are 10. This value summation, I think, according to my calculation, it is about 32370.3. So answer is this one. Okay, I believe that my calculations are correct. Otherwise, anyhow, you need to just get the sum divided by 10. Okay, normal. Find the mean. Again, find the mean. And also, don't forget, round your answer to the nearest hundredth of an inch. Nearest hundredth. Okay, of an inch. So exact answer, still you have to use this one, divide by n. Yeah, exact answer is 2.94. Okay, 2.94. 100th inch mean 2 decimals. 2 decimals. Okay, so exact answer is this one. You don't have to worry about that. Once you get this, you will get this answer. Clear? Chapter 3, 2. Anyhow, exam number 1, right? Okay. I think mode. What's the mode? Mode mean the highest frequency value, right? So highest frequency value, there are 3 values. If I check this one, see, you can see this one right here, 38386, and also 394. This one 394, right? And also 35.7. 35.7, I'll use square 35 point. See, all of these 3 numbers repeat 3 times. Okay, so it's not about just one mode, it's about modes. There are 3 mode values, these 3. Clear? If you have just one, please mention it's just one. Otherwise, please check all the values. Okay, there are, see, mode or plural modes. It's also possible. Okay, find the sample standard deviation. So how do you find the sample standard deviation? Sample standard deviation, this one, see right here, S equal this one. This is the sample standard deviation formula. So each xi mean each value, x bar mean its mean. I think you have Yes, you have to find first. You have to find the number one. You have to find the x bar. Number two is use s equals summation xi minus x bar squared divided by n minus 1, right? Yes, n minus 1. Okay. Let me check number 12. X. No, I don't have answers. It should be 36. I have the answer. Okay. Find the range. How do you find the range? Range means maximum minus minimum. Range max minus mean. In this case, 29.1. Maximum is 29.1 minus minimum is 8.6. So answer is this one. Okay. These are like, it will take 3 to 5 seconds. So try to save your time this kind of questions. Okay. So that you can finish the exam on time. 5 number summary. So what are the 5 numbers? 5 number summary, what are they? Min max, Q1, Q2, and Q3. Okay. 5 numbers, 5 number summary. Min max. No, let's write it in the corresponding order. Okay. Min, Q1, Q2, Q3, max. So this is the order. Always starting from min and from max. So min, you can see it is 1. Definitely it is 1. Max, definitely it is 10. In between, you have to find, first find the Q2. What is Q2? There are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how do you find the Q2? N plus 1 divided by 2. Position. Right? And that value you can find the median. Q2 mean median. Another word, median. So this is 5, 6, 6 divided by 2, 3. So median is 6. Q2 is 6. So check the third one should be 6. Unfortunately, all of them have 6. Next one is you have to find the Q1 and Q3. First find the Q1. Since you have how many? You have odd number of observations. Do you remember? If you have odd numbers, you have to include your median to find the Q1 as well as include the median to find the Q3. So this is easy. Definitely there are 3 numbers. So n plus 1 divided by 2, it is 2. Second question, it is 3. So if you can find the Q1, then answer is second one. Okay. If you remember that, if you have odd numbers, you have to include Q2 to find Q1 and Q3. Okay. Otherwise, you don't have to include it. Okay. Again, a hint. You will be having a question like this based on 5 number summary and this part, because this is a part of the 5 number summary. This graphs, box plots. Okay. Sorry. The main thing is in 5 numbers in box plots, if you have any outliers, you have to mention them using this kind of cross marks. It is a must. Okay. If you have to draw this kind of box plot, first you have to find the minimum, maximum. I mean, theoretically minimum and maximum. Then Q1, Q2, Q3. Find the outliers if you have any. If you have any outliers, then you have to change your minimum and maximum according to that outliers. Okay, clear? Because if you, okay, for example, if you consider these values, your minimum is 15, because this is in ascending order. This data set in ascending order. So minimum is 15, but it is an outlier. If you, I mean, after you calculated these outliers, how do you calculate outliers? From the left hand side, you can calculate your outliers. Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR. What is this IQR? Q3 minus Q1. Okay. From right hand side, sorry, this is Q1. Q3 plus 1.5 times IQ1. Okay. Based on these calculations, you have to figure it out whether you have outliers or not. Based on these Q1, Q2, Q3 values, 15 going to be your outlier. So after that, the next closest value you have to consider as the minimum. It's a new minimum. Okay. So if you have any outliers, you have to adjust your minimum and maximum based on that outliers. Okay. So definitely answer is this one. Once you do the calculations, you can find. Let me check. Yeah, I have Q1, Q2 values. Q1 23, Q2 25, and Q3 28. Yes, that's all I have. So 15, 14, and 42 are outliers, as they mentioned here. Okay. See, at the gap between 23 and 25, it is 2. That's why you have this much tiny space with respect to this one. See, gap between 25 and 28, it is 4. Oh, sorry, 3. So that's why you have, see, 1, 2, 3, like equal spaces. Okay. Any questions based on this? Yes. Exactly. Yes. But once you find the correct answer, you have to consider the outliers. Okay. Then based on the outliers, you have to adjust your minimum and maximum. Okay, like this. Yes, they are based on the numbers, or they are based on the observations what you have. No problem with that. Okay. Okay. 16. Okay, sum of dice is 6 or 9. So you have to count the sum. 6 or 9. It should be 6 or 9. So can you, okay, this one 6. Another 6. 2 4. 4 2. I think these are the, no, 5 3. There are many, right? This one, I mean 6. Okay, sum is 6. And 5 1. See, it's like always they are like diagonal shapes. Yes, these are the values. I can get 6. What are the values I can get? 9. 5 plus, no, 6 first. 6 plus 3. Start from there. 6 plus 3. 5 4. 4 5. See, these are 9. So how many? 1 2 3 4 5 9. So 9 out of 36. Altogether there are 36. So if you 1/4, right? 9 times 4 is 36. So 1/4. Clear? So don't miss any particular pair once you, I mean, while you are calculating the pairs. Okay. Clear? I think we have done so many examples based on this. With replacement, without replacement, I can skip this one, right? There are 10 possible samples they have mentioned. There are 10 possible samples. So definitely you should be able to find 10 possibilities. Okay, for example, there are 3 people. No, sorry, 3 people should be considered, okay, among these 5. So one possible outcome is ABC. The other one is AB, D, something like that. Okay, something like that. You can find 10 possible outcomes. Okay. So the probabilities there are 7, so 7 out of 10. They have mentioned what you need. Probability that B is included. So in that particular pair or particular possibility, B should be there. So based on that, it is 7. So sorry, not 7. It should be 6. Okay, it should be 6. So altogether 10. 6 divided by 10, which means 3 over 5. Okay. Yeah. These are counting. So chapter 3. All the possibilities are given. There are 16 outcomes when you flip the coin 4 times, or you flip 4 coins at the same time. Doesn't matter. Situation is same. So you need to find this event. What are the possibilities based on this event? So please check it. You will find this event that last toss is head. So the last one should be the heads. So last one should be the head. This one, no, wrong. This one correct, but you have to consider all the possibilities. So this should be the answer. Okay. Okay. I need few more minutes. I don't think we need to go through this one. Based on event, event A and B are mutually exclusive. Oh. Okay. Event the student is at most 28. At most 28 means this one. Up to this point, right? At most mean maximum that value. At least 40. At least 40 means 40 or more. So 40 or more. See, over 40. So what about these two events? They are two separate events. So they are mutually exclusive. No calculations. Just check the events. Okay. In this poll, okay. This much respondent, accident, being car accident, this much. So you can find the probability getting the someone get who has been in a car accident. That number divided by total using the probability. Okay. Okay, how do we find this one? Using general additive rule, right? I think the name is general additive rule. P A union O, sorry, and B equals PA plus PB minus probability of A. Sorry, this is not 10, this is O. Sorry. P and B. So plug the values to this one, you can find the PB. It should be this one. Okay. General additive rule, let me check. Do we have it here? Yes, it's here. See, general addition rule. This one. I don't know, I cannot write, but this one. Here you can find it. General additive rule. Okay. 22. I don't think I need to go through this one. It is same. Okay, give me just 1 minute. I'll explain this one. Okay. This is the last one. Suppose that 2 balanced dice are rolled. 2 dice. Okay. 2 dice. Why denote the sum of the 2 numbers? So 2 numbers is at least 3, but less than 5. How do you write it like a probability? What we need, use random variable notation. Okay, random variable notation means a variable less than or equal the value, greater than or equal this value. If you need the probability of this, you had to write it like this. This is the probability notation. This is the random variable notation. Okay, so here it is not x, here it is y. So stick on that variable y. Clear? Sorry, sum of 2 numbers is at least 3. At least 3 means 3 or more. So y greater than, sorry, this should be strictly less than, and less than c is strictly less than 5. Less than c is greater than or equal. So it should be like this.